Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to The Truth, where today we are getting back into college football one last time. And we're going to be going over my college football season top 25 overviews, comparing last year to this year, who I think got snuffed from the top 25 based off of records, which a lot of people prefer. So that's going to be what I'm also delve into. But yeah, let's just get into it. So starting out, we have Michigan, and this is based off of the AP Top 25 poll because they released their final rankings. We have Michigan ranked number 1 at 15-0, who won the national championship. I 100% agree with this. Michigan last year was 13-1, and they finished the year 15-0. That's an improvement. I think you keep what you're doing, whatever you can. You try to keep as many pieces as possible. And then for their future goal, the set year, so I have that listed as set year, which basically means next year is your set year to improve off of. But basically what I'm saying is next year you're probably it's almost impossible to run it back, to get back to back. Georgia did it and it was insane. Bama, I think, did it and it's insane. It's extremely hard though. And I'm not gonna go out here and say, oh, that was a failure of a season. No, you won last year. You're gonna lose pieces this year. You're going to get some probably coaches poached from NFL or other teams. Take a year, say, okay, this is the baseline for next year, and we build on top of that the year after. But with that being said, 15-0, great job. I have Michigan ranked number 1. Totally agree. Congrats to Michigan. Ranked number 2, the AP Top 25 has Washington. Last year, Washington went 13-2. This year, they went 14-1. They made a big improvement. My future goal for them next year is to try to recruit as many, get better, and get to 15-1 and win the national championship. That's how you get better. Now, my second ranking, my team that I think deserves the number 2 is Georgia. And I know they lost to Bama, but Bama didn't get the job done over Michigan, so why can't Georgia? A lot of people saying that Georgia-Bama game, either Georgia probably would have won more times than not, or it was 50-50. So why not give Georgia a shot? At the end, for number 3, the AP Top 25 has Texas. Texas went 8-5 last year, and they went 12-2 this year. Big improvement. My goal for them next year is 13-1. And for number 3, I have Washington. In my personal opinion, I think Georgia's better than Washington. I think Bama is better than Washington, but I can't put Bama up there because they have 2 losses. But look, Georgia's better than Washington. I think we can all agree on that. I mean, that's, going on to ranked number 4, they have Georgia. Georgia went 15-0 last year. They had a set year, which is 13-1, which is pretty impressive. But their future goal is 14-1. If you're Georgia, see what went wrong and get better either recruiting-wise, positional coaching-wise, coordinating-wise, or head coaching-wise. Because if you get better at one of those, the record will be better. If your problem was recruiting last year, and I'm not saying this is their problem, but I'm just saying in general for the teams who also had the same problem, that they got worse. If your problem is recruiting, get better recruiters. Get better off-field analysts to help with recruiting and stuff like that. If your problem was positional coaching or positional coach, get a better positional coach at that. You're Georgia, you can do that. You're a top 25 team, you can go do that. If it's coordinate, go get a better coordinator. You're a top 25 team this year. You can do that. If it's a head coach, you can do that. But for number 4, based on my rankings, I had 13-1 Florida State. At number 5, they had Alabama. They went 11-2 last year, and they went 12-2 this year. That's an improvement. And I have their future goal set at 13-1. Liberty, I have as my ranking for the fifth overall because they also won 13-1. I don't think they're better than Florida State, who also had the same record. At number 6, they had Florida State at 13-1. Last year, Florida State went 10-3, and they went 13-1 this year. Big improvements. I have high hopes for Florida State. I want them to go 14-1 next year for their future goal. Also, disclaimer: if they don't go, this is your goal. If let's say you don't hit that goal, if you hit a point differential that's higher than last year's, and you have the same record, that still works. It's basically, well, in my opinion, it's kind of like by years. Like, okay, you kind of got close. Maybe there were some kinks that you had to work out throughout the season that still got you there, but now you're on the right track. My goal for them is 14-1, and then my team, who I have at rank number 6 overall, is Texas at 12-2 because of that second loss. Even though I think Texas is better than Florida State right now. Oregon ranked number 7 at 10-3. I have, actually, for Oregon, last year they went 10-3. This year they went 12-2. That's a good improvement. Once you start getting to these double-digit wins and you're improving, it's really impressive. My goal for them is 13-1. Go beat Washington. Go beat Washington once. And then for number 7, I have Alabama at 11-2. They just had one less win than Texas. Next is the 8th ranked team, which is Missouri at 11-2. Missouri went 6-7 last year and took a huge step up, 11-2. Continue that. For these teams, go continue that. For these fan bases, root to be better. Don't settle for mediocrity. My goal for them is to be 12-1. And then also, the team I have ranked at 8 was Ohio State. I like Ohio State. It's hard for me to say, dang, Ohio State isn't better than Missouri or Ole Miss. It's tough because a lot of these teams are similar this year. Now, going into next year, it's going to be completely different. But this year, it's hard for me to go around and say. I'm actually going to scroll up into this now. Ole Miss is my next team, or is AP's top 25's next team, ranked 9th. Ole Miss went 8-5 last year, and they went 11-2 this year. That's still like I said, you're getting double digits. That's really impressive. My goal for them is 12-1. If you're a fan base, you want 12-1. Missouri was my team at 9, who went 11-2. This is because I know Missouri lost to LSU and Ole Miss beat LSU, but it flipped with Georgia, and I think Georgia's a better team, so I'm gonna go off of that. Missouri had less of a loss against Georgia. It wasn't as bad, but almost got slaughtered. And it's just like, if you can't beat that team, how are you gonna hang with it? Scoot that down. For the 10th team, they have Ohio State. AP has Ohio State at 11-2. Ohio State went 11-2 last year and went 11-2 this year. They had a 302 point differential, basically meaning that their point differential last year, the points they scored on offense outweighed the points the other team scored on them by 302 points. That dropped to 251. You have to make a change if you're Ohio State. You have to make a change if you're the head coach, if you don't want to get fired. That is how you get better. The good news is you didn't drop a loss, which is like purgatory in college. Like if you're 11-2, then you drop a loss, then you go bounce and you drop a loss, and you kind of bouncing between, you're in purgatory as a team. You got to make changes. You got to make changes some way, somehow. Not just on the team, but on the staff. Like staff changes are the most important when it's in college. With that being said, I have them shooting for a goal of 12-1. Ole Miss, I have at 10, at 11-2. And I know a lot of people, and look, I back it too. I think Ohio State should get a new head coach. But if he does go 12-1 next year, I think you keep him. It's hard for me to say you don't. Then going to the next team. At 11, they have Arizona State at the AP Top 25 poll, which it's kind of crazy. You have Arizona over LSU. I know LSU doesn't have a good defense, but man, that offense is still good. Arizona went 5-7 last year and went 10-3 this year. That's pretty impressive. You double your wins. That's really impressive. My goal for them is 11-2 next year. The team I had at 11 was Oregon. At number 12, AP Top 25 had LSU. LSU went 10-4 last year and went 10-3 this year. Same amount of wins, one less loss. They played one less game. I'll say this. LSU made changes, and they made changes after this season, when they were already improved. I'll get into that. And this is an example of a good top 25 team. This is a team who consistently gets better. LSU had a point differential last year of 138. This year, 228. It's pretty impressive. For number 12 ranked team for me, I had James Madison at 11-2. My worst 11-2 team. Number 13, AP Top 25 has Penn State. Penn State went 11-2 this year, and they went 10-3 this year. Whenever you start losing more games than you did last year, you have to consider your options at head coach, because that means your head coach isn't leading your team to more victories. It's different when it's point differentials, because it's like, coaching staff here could get that next win. If you're losing games and you're starting to become in purgatory, you really need to look at your head coach. My goal for them is 11-2, and the team I had at 13 was SMU, who was 11-3, who beat Tulane, also 11-3. So I have SMU at the best 11-3 rankings. Yeah. At 14, you have Notre Dame. Or AP had Notre Dame at last year. They went 9-4. This year they went 10-3. Notre Dame, my goal for them next year is 11-2. And then the team I had at 14 was Tulane. At 15, AP had Oklahoma. If I can get to Oklahoma. Oklahoma last year went 6-7. They went 10-3 this year, making big improvements, now moving into the SEC. My goal for them next year is to be 11-2. The team I had at 15 was Toledo. At 16, they had Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State went 7-6 last year. They went 10-4 this year. My goal for them is 11-3, and the team I had is Miami, Ohio at 11-3. At 17, the AP Top 25 had Tennessee. Tennessee won 11-2 this year. They went 9-4. And like I said before, this is another team where you have to consider your head coaching options. You're sitting here like, why aren't we? Even if we lose recruits, even if we're losing guys who graduate and stuff, why are teams like LSU, Ole Miss, Michigan, Washington, why are these teams improving when they're losing talent too? Every year teams lose talent. Why are these teams losing talent but still getting better? And that's it falls on the head coach. Why isn't he doing his job to build a better coaching staff to last longer? When a opposing coaching staff, or when one of your people or employees on your staff gets poached, why aren't you bringing in another guy who's equally as good or better? or trying to find a guy who you think is better? Why are you failing at that? And that's what you have to look at. The next team at 18 they have is Kansas State, and I have the same problem with them. Kansas State went 10-4 last year. They went 9-4 this year. My goal for them is 10-3. I have the exact same issue. Oh, sorry. For number 17, I had Troy, by the way. And I have the same issue with Kansas State. Why aren't you succeeding and doing better? Like, if you're not recruiting better, you need to figure out, okay, who's going to be a better recruiter than this person to get better talent? If you're not coaching better, who's going to be a better coach? Go find a better coach. There are guys out there every single year. You just got to go find them. At number 18, I had LSU at 10-3. Number 19 was Louisville. They finished they finished last season at 8-5. This year they finished at 10-4. Good season. Next year, my goal for them next year is 11-3. And the team I had at 19 was Oklahoma. At number 20, AP had Clemson. Clemson finished 9-4. Last year they finished 11-3. This year they finished 9-4, and the exact same problem. Look, I like Clemson's head coach, but what's the problem? Go find the problem. Go be proactive. And go, well, you're not being proactive, sorry. Go be reactive because you weren't proactive enough. You weren't proactive enough in finding the next guy. You failed at that. Go be reactive and go get a better spot on that. And if you can't get that job done, then you can't be a head coach. And I'm not saying that he can't get it done, that Clemson's head coach can't get it done. I'm just saying, as a fan looking out to in, this is what I'm thinking. Because at the end of the day, every top 25 team wants to win a natty. And that's what it takes. So if you're Clemson, go fix your problems. And go reach 10-3 next year. And go show improvement. At number 20, my rankings, I had Penn State over under Oklahoma. I just think Penn State's offense isn't good enough. Number 21, the AP Top 25 ranked the NC State. NC State last year went 8-5 and then went 9-4. I know it's not a big jump like these other teams, but it's still improvement. And you look forward to that as a fan. My goal for them next year is 10-3. You hit that, that's another improvement. Keep doing what you're doing. At number 21, my ranking, I had Notre Dame. I don't think Notre Dame's as good as Penn State or these teams above them. I don't think their offense or their defense can hang with these teams. At 22, they have SMU. SMU last year had a record of 7-6. They took a big jump forward and went to 11-3. That's improvement. SMU's building that team back up again. My goal for them is 12-2. And then I have the team, my ranked 22 team is Arizona. And just a reminder, as we get to near the end of this, the way my rankings work, I go based off of record, and then I go based off of the teams with the same record who I think is better. At 23, the AP Top 25 has Kansas. Kansas went 6-7 last year and went 9-4 this year. That's an improvement. My goal for them is 10-3. And then the team I had was Memphis, who went 10-3. At number 24 is Iowa. Iowa's an interesting team. They're one of the teams I followed this year, who I really followed. I love their defense. They need to get better offense. But with that being said, they went 8-5 last year. They went 10-4 this year. My goal for them is 11-3 next year. And the team I had at 24 is Ohio. Not Ohio State, but Ohio, with a 10-3 record. With the final team in the AP Top 25. The AP Top 25 had Liberty. Liberty had a good season. They went 13-1. And look, if you're a person who preaches you want the teams with the best record in the top rankings, and to get a New Year's Six bowl or compete in the playoffs, you have to do the same with Liberty. I know a lot of people didn't back that, but they backed FSU. You can't have either or. You got to have both. Liberty went 8-5 last year and went 13-1. That's a big improvement. My goal for them is 14-1. Go win another game. Go win. Go win. I know you went undefeated, but if you go undefeated again, it's really in the regular season. It's really hard for teams to say, "Dang, we're gonna keep them out of the playoffs again." When it's even bigger, yeah, I doubt that. Go 14-1, and then at my top 25, I had Oklahoma State at 10-4, the only 10-4 team in this rankings. The only reason I have them there is because they beat Oklahoma, who I had at 19, and that's why I say, if you lose your loss, you lose the teams. You lose 4 games against teams you should have beat because you beat Oklahoma. You've shown that capability. But it is what it is. That's my top 25s. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. What do you think I hit on? What do you think I didn't hit on? Your views about these teams in the future, looking back at it, do you see these teams traveling in the right direction? Let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I will sign out on this last college football video for this season, and I can't wait to start it up whenever it starts up next season. Thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you all next time.